So I'd like to introduce our first speaker of today's event. So I'd like to introduce Christopher Longmore, who is the Regional Membership Officer for the Royal Society of Biology. And Christopher is going to talk to you today about the benefits of learned societies and how to use your membership. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Can you see that okay?
All good.
Right, thank you. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon and welcome to Bioscience Careers Day. My name's Chris Longmore. I'm a Regional Membership Officer for the Royal Society of Biology. And before you get into all the details about the different career-specific talks, I've been asked to speak to you about the benefits of a learned society, what it is, and how you could use the membership of one to support your developing career, support the skills you're going to pick up, and basically enhance your CV and what you're doing in the future. So a bit of context to begin with, that from a survey of graduates, of biology graduates from 2021-22, over 70% of them were in work or further education 15 months after graduating. And of those that went into professional jobs, the top 5 of those are listed on the screen. And you can see there's a lot of technical professions there, such as laboratory technician, biochemists and biomed scientists, and those involved in conservation, as well as secondary education and teaching. And outside of this, there was so many more careers that biologists can be involved in. And with many biologists going into work, going into further education, I think it's worth considering how are you as an individual going to continue your development outside of an undergrad course? How are you going to showcase and enhance the skills that you've developed throughout your life? And how are you going to set yourself apart? I think we're all reasonably familiar with the concept of transferable skills, and that through our life, through our lived experiences, our education, maybe the jobs that we've had, we've developed certain skills that get funneled into who we are and what we're capable of. And, you know, that's something that you'll be looking at and trying to use and trying to showcase when you're looking at your own career or your own further education. And what I'd want to suggest today is that being a member of a learned society is something that can top up and add to those experiences that you've developed over your life. A way to create a network and connections with people in your industry, and it just being another thing to showcase what you can do, but also to keep developing outside of your university education. So the big question to answer first of all is, what is a learned society? Generally, they're non-profit organizations, and they try and promote a particular profession or field of research. So you might talk about genetics, biotechnology, biochemistry, ecology. There'll be learned societies representing all these different areas. A big focus of what learned societies do is that they're there to support and to promote their discipline, and that also means supporting those that are working in that area as well. So a big thing to take home with you is that learned societies are there to support their members in that field. If you take a look at this slide, I wonder if you can find something or find a discipline that you associate with in some way. I guess biology should be the obvious one for most people, but maybe something more specific as well. If you can find something on this screen that you associate with, there's a really high probability that there'll be a learned society that's there to represent you and represent your interests and help develop you and your network outside of just your higher education. And this is an example of some slide example of some learned societies. Obviously, there's the Royal Society of Biology, but also ones, you know, very specific to different areas, such as the Anatomical Society, Biochemical, Immunology, Physiological Society. And this is just like a really small number of those that exist and can be sought out. So this slide is really a number of common traits between different learned societies, and most, if not all of them, will have some benefit or some availability of the types of things on this slide. So at the very top point, that almost all learned societies will be able to support their members with access to grants, prizes and competitions. This might take the form of grants for traveling to a conference or traveling for education, or even hosting an event. Prizes and competitions are a great way of being rewarded for and getting recognition for the things that you're doing, either in education or in a professional capacity. Learning societies have great involvement in training and developing their members. This can usually take the form of access to training courses of some kind, and that ties in quite nicely with their involvement with events and conferences. This can take the form of reduced cost access to events or even free access to them, and a lot of societies put on events of their own. And these kinds of events and conferences are a great place to meet other professionals, but also keep learning and keep developing your knowledge in an area of interest. Publication access can be quite expensive when you're not part of an academic institution, so there can be assistance with access and discounts for this. And when they're promoting their area of interest in their discipline, lots of societies are promoting policy related to that area, and they ask their members for engagement with this. I think one of the real key benefits of joining a learned society, particularly as you're moving into the world of work or education, higher education, is the fact that you'll be joining a network of professionals with a lot of experience in that area. There will be an aspect of you'll receive as much as you put into it, so it's definitely worth getting involved. And many societies do have a scheme of mentoring to support those earlier on in their career. And finally, I think a really great opportunity to go beyond, just what you do for your education, just what you do in a place of work, is to get involved in outreach and working groups to support those with an interest in this area, or to support developing, the future of your field, whether that's looking into schools or other places and getting people excited and interested in an area that you're passionate about. And I think involvement in all of these different areas contributes to increasing your visibility as an individual in that organization, but also developing other skills that you might not have had course to develop just throughout education or being in a place of work. So I guess one thing I'm qualified to talk about is the Royal Society of Biology, the RSB. So as kind of a case study, I'll look at what you could get from a learned society like the RSB, but pick out those points that are common to lots of different learned societies. So whichever ones you choose, you should be looking maybe for these types of benefits. So at RSB, we have organizational members, but today I'm going to focus on our individual members, and we have over 16,000 people who are members of the Royal Society of Biology. Rather than being for quite a specific or niche discipline, the Royal Society of Biology covers the entire spectrum of biological sciences and wants to act as a unifying voice for it. And you can see on this slide, we've got a really diverse range of members, whether that's from professionals and practicing scientists to students at every level, or even non-professionals or people without a formal education in biology that are interested in it. And our 4 key activities is, first of all, our advisement of government and policy. We produce policy papers that we take to Parliament and to various different institutions. We want to advance the education and professional development of our members, and also support and represent people working in biosciences. And finally, we want to engage and encourage the public to get involved in the biosciences. And I think these are key themes that will be quite common through lots of different learned societies. If I was going to pick out 3 key benefits of joining RSB that are also common to lots of other learned societies, the first one would be that you're joining a network of people with similar interest and hopefully similar interest and experience. At the Royal Society of Biology, there's space for volunteering roles, for outreach and engagement. each area of the country has a local branch that you can get involved with as well, that often puts on events, and the RSP hosts an annual biology week. And these are just various ways to start making connections, to develop some experience and to get to know other people in your field. And as I said, there'll be lots of these kinds of opportunities available, whatever learning society you might join. I think the second key benefit, outside the first being joining that network, is to personally raise your profile and gain some recognition. At RSP, we've got access to a continuous professional development scheme, CPD, whereby you are formally logging and recognizing what you're doing to develop yourself as a professional and as a biologist. And this can lead to application for professional registrations, like being a chartered biologist, a chartered scientist, a registered science technician, or a toxicologist, for example. And these types of professional registrations are recognition of your continual development, recognition of your skills and professionalism, and also award post-nominal letters after your name, which is something you also get depending on your grade of membership for lots of learned societies. To help people develop, there's also discounted access to training courses and exclusive access to grants and awards. And these are two things that are, very common amongst learned societies. If you find one that really suits your interests and suits your needs, there can be training and grants available to really help further what you're interested in and the knowledge that you'd like to develop. And the last one, outside of joining that network and getting personal recognition, is that it's supporting your journey on lifelong learning and discovery. Learning doesn't end when you leave university, and a learned society can help you continue that throughout your life. So for example, at RSB, we've got an internal magazine that goes out to members. I know a few other learned societies do as well. And in addition, lots of societies have access to events that they put on and newsletters that go out that highlight the work that they've been doing and to keep you up to date with what's going on in their area of interest. So I think to summarize, a key thing is look at the range of learned societies that are out there and find the community and the society that's really going to suit you best. But I think on here is a couple of check marks almost of the kinds of things you should be looking for. So you want one that's going to expand your network and help support you. You want one that's going to help you strengthen your CV with the sort of, extracurricular activities you can do, the voluntary work and skills that you can develop. You want one that is focused on helping you help support your development in your career as well. And that's often through any training or development tools that they might have. And you might also want to consider joining a society that's going to help you financially with stuff that you might not be able to do otherwise by applying for travel or research grants that they have. And if you decide that RSB sounds like the kind of society you might want to join, you can use the QR code that's on the screen or the link below. And we've got an offer to join for £15 a year of your own full-time education with 3 months of additional free membership. So that QR code and the link is going to stay on the screen. And I'll thank you for your attention, listening to my talk, and open it up for any questions.
Thank you very much, Chris. I think that was a really great overview of sort of the breadth of opportunities and benefits available, obviously particularly at the RSB and also the learning societies. And it's not always something, I don't think, that a lot of undergraduates realise is available. Certainly, I was very late in the day during my undergraduate studies, knowing that these kind of societies were actually available and the benefits you can get from just a kind of a small membership subscription.